Check you. Hello, Moonies, and greetings. Welcome. Thank you for being
Love and
here.
justice.
Yeah. Can you guess what we're doing today?
All day today.
Sailor Moon Crystal. Now that 26 episodes are out and the first season has concluded,
Ooh, the drama.
Today we will be reviewing Crystal. There's a lot to cover, and I have a ton of notes, so I'm going to go through this as quickly and thoroughly as I can without this being a crazy long video.
I'm just going to be a natural distraction. Because they brought the drama. I love this. The pacing, all
really
of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one more piece, but I want you to touch on it because I'll just chime in on it.
I got you.
Yeah. Action, go.
So, let's get started. Let's just jump right into this. First and foremost, I'm going to say that I will always love original Sailor Moon. I mean, it does and will always hold such a special place in my heart. It was my first anime, if you don't count Thundercats.
Or Voltron.
Yes. Sailor Moon is the anime that started it all for me. It's my favorite, and it always will be. I often joke that Sailor Moon kind of saved my childhood, and in a way it kind of did, because it reminded me no matter what your age, it's always okay to believe in a little magic. So, never lose the magic, But I know I'm not alone in that feeling either, because I actually cosplay as Neo Queen Serenity, and
excellent job.
Aw, thanks.
Like, I'm trying to get that cosplay in too, but that costume, I never knew the cosplay
He's talking
was
about
real.
Endymion. He wants to be
King Endymion. The struggle is real. I had no idea cosplay players. Woo.
Yes, he's learning. He's finding out the struggle is very, very real. I've actually had people come up to me at conventions quite literally crying because of how deeply impacted and how deeply Sailor Moon has affected their lives in such a positive and profound way.
That's a whole other show right there. The
that
cosplay
really
part,
is. It really
OnlyCon 2015. It's going down.
Full disclosure, I have not read every single Sailor Moon manga.
I haven't read a single one.
I've read the first set of the original ones, and quite honestly, I'm glad I haven't read them all. In my opinion, it made Sailor Moon Crystal that much more enjoyable for me. I kind of compare it to reading a book and then watching the movie. Ultimately, if you read a book first, it kind of ruins the movie. So in this way, I think I was just more open-minded to the whole Crystal experience. I know that I've seen a lot of people say that there are discrepancies between the manga and the show.
There always will be.
Yeah, but from the manga that I have read to the shows, to this first season that, I know of, I have thought it's been pretty on point, honestly. But that's just my opinion. That's just one woman's opinion. I enjoy Crystal because I consider it to be the reboot or more adult version for the adults now that were kids growing up on the original Sailor Moon.
Like me, because those filler episodes sucked. Rini and Serena, the crybaby ones.
Yeah, we're getting to that. That's one of my favorite aspects of Crystal, is the fact that it is more mature. I love that it's fast paced because, as he just said, I agree. Not a big fan of filler.
I had the last 22 minutes of my life back. Thank you.
Yeah. I have heard also a lot of talk about the quality of the animation. I'm honestly a little bit of column A and column B on this, because on one hand, I do find it odd knowing that how world-renowned and loved Sailor Moon is, that they didn't go with a bit higher quality. But on the other hand, I'm kind of so busy enjoying the show and just so glad that there is more Sailor Moon to love. I suppose I can live with it.
And couldn't they just always upgrade?
However, I would like to point out that I did read an article recently stating that, Tayo, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, I can never say it right, is actually making a lot of changes and corrections between the web release as well as the home release version. So, here's hoping that they're going to apply those same notes to season 2. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see. Fingers crossed. I know there's been a lot of talk about the lack of character development in Crystal. So I'm going to throw my 2 cents into the ring here, kind of put a different angle on it. Personally, I think this is personal preference. I know the history of Sailor Moon, and chances are, you know, if you are coming to Sailor Moon Crystal, chances are you either know, you know, somebody, you either know the history, and if you don't, you know someone that can fill you in. And if you don't, you can go online, watch original Sailor Moon, read the manga. You know, the bottom line, it's a rectifiable situation, and there are plenty of resources out there to get you caught up.
Actually, they do enough.
I don't really think it's needed. Yeah.
For Crystal, if you never
really
watched Sailor Moon, you get the gist of each person. Yeah, they could go a little bit further,
I just don't think it's needed.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. And, you know, and honestly, you know, if you kind of think about it, if this actually got a new person to Sailor Moon to go back and watch the original Sailor Moon or read the manga, that's introducing a new generation to original Sailor Moon. And let's face it, that is always a win. Okay?
Original Sailor Moon.
Can't lose, right? So let's talk about the original music. In my honest opinion, it will never be matched. The new music will never match the old one, in my opinion. It will forever and always hold a magical quality for me. It does stand alone. It really does.
But the new one, it's for a new Sailor Moon.
Right. Absolutely.
I like it. When I'm watching it online, I sit through that opening sequence.
Definitely.
I like the song. I wouldn't want the old song.
Well, the old music can still conjure emotion into me to this day.
I'm not that emotional.
So, you know, I'm just saying, I've known, and, you know, I know there are Moonies out there that know what I'm talking about because, you know, we grew up on this, and, you know, the fact remains, I can honestly say that I like the new music, but it will never be at that same level ever. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. That's just, I'm throwing it out there because I know a lot of people.
The prototype, the 2.0.
Exactly. So we are now at 26 episodes. We've concluded season 1.
They did a lot.
And they have fit a lot into each of those episodes. And I'm glad that they did because we had to wait 2 weeks per episode. So, you know, the least they could do is spare us the filler. So, you know, thanks for that, Crystal. Good job on that one.
Next topic.
A few things that stuck out to me. Again, I absolutely love that the whole series is more mature as a whole. I very much appreciate that Usagi is not such a crybaby. Yes, she still cries, but let's face it, it is not nearly as amplified as it was or exaggerated as it was in the original Sailor Moon.
Getting on my last nerve. That's my first one.
Yeah, I relish the fact that Mamoru and Usagi are also not exaggerated in their age difference. They're just so much more on the same level. They're just there, you know. So
there's nothing weird about that.
You know, I just love that. You know, I just didn't care for how mean he was to her in the original. I know a lot of people felt the same way, and because sometimes he was a jerk, and that was kind of putting it nicely. And believe me, for the 90s version, I completely understand why they did that. I understand why they exaggerated those points in age, but I truly didn't ever care for it. So, you know, I'm just really glad to see a more mature version of those two. So that was a happy point for me. The same goes for the girls. I really enjoy their maturity as well. And it's funny, throughout the years, I've heard a lot of people say that some people really seem to like the bickering back and forth between Serena and
Mars. Yeah, it's
Ray,
funny.
Mars. And
so many names. I
personally found that to be obnoxious. And I really think that it just kind of amplified the
immaturity.
The immaturity of the group as a whole. I mean, not just her, not just one or two of them, but just all of them, really. And again, I understand they changed these things in the 90s, you know, to tone things down. And, you know, I'm just very glad it's not in Crystal.
It works better this way because
I'm very glad it's not in Crystal.
In Crystal, you definitely see Sailor Moon as Serenity, and you see the Guardians as the Guardians, as more as Sailor Moon is the queen and the leader, and the Guardians come in their place, kind of not well, below her,
Yeah.
While in the other one, all that bickering kind of made them more on the same level.
Yeah. No, it was just I'm just glad it's not there.
I just want to acknowledge that.
I know.
Next topic.
No, I personally felt that the way that they introduced Endymion's guards into Crystal was really cool. I personally like that. Yet another element to our multifaceted Crystal that is our story, pun intended. I'll be here all week, folks. No.
Twice on Sunday.
A majority of the episodes really evoked emotion for me due to the intensity, and I personally really, really like that aspect of it. However, a small little irk that I am going to point out, just for me, this is just my little thing, is that something that I feel original Sailor Moon definitely has over Crystal is the design of Neo Queen Serenity's dress. And yes, I realize it was done that way in the manga. I understand that, but as I said, I cosplay Neo Queen Serenity from the original Sailor Moon, so it is a little irk for me, but that's again a personal thing. And honestly, the one other thing that I will notice that I've noticed other people say is that the Crystal Neo Queen Serenity actually looks less mature in the face. And again, I know that's from the manga, but I will say this. One thing that Neo Queen Serenity from Crystal has from Neo Queen Serenity in original Sailor Moon, Neo Queen Serenity in Crystal stepped up. Okay, she really...
Oh, she was about that life.
She stepped up, and she actually had a very active role in Crystal versus Neo Queen Serenity in original Sailor Moon, because we as viewers did not witness Neo Queen Serenity in original Sailor Moon actually doing anything, and we did witness that with Neo Queen Serenity in Crystal. So I did like that. That was pretty cool.
I got one thing.
Yeah.
That irked me about Crystal. That the original did have comparably over Crystal, which is maybe it's the guy in me, but I liked seeing the Sailor Scouts get into it with all their enemies, like the fighting, the firefights, the upgrade, the new attacks, and the new attacks that destroys the enemy. Like in this one, we go through those Spectra sisters, and it's like, bah, I'm captured, moon escalation, and like really? No, and that could have been an area of character development that you saw. Maybe because in the original, each person was paired up with one of the sisters, and in the more than one fight the Sailor Scouts had with those sisters, they upgraded the attacks. They got focused. It was a challenge. It was a struggle, and that's what's interesting. We like seeing that struggle and seeing our heroes overcome those struggles. It was
done really well. I mean, honestly, they really did do. For the amount of time that they had to get everything in there from the manga, what was most important, I think they did a bang up job.
Yeah, all in all, that's just one thing that I would like to see more of. I like to see more fighting.
I'm sure it's coming. I think
fighting.
We'll see.
Round 2.
We'll see if they apply notes and fan notes.
Oh, and another thing for the fight, Tuxedo Mask stepped all the way up. I know it's a female-driven hero show.
No, he did. He was very manly, and I like that.
That's something we were missing in the original. I thought he was a little bit of a punk. Like, okay, you just there because we need a man, whatever. But in this one,
I'm getting to that in a minute.
He was knocking people out. The bomber attack. I'm just saying, Tuxedo Mask.
Well, speaking of him, that's actually my next topic. Because as I was saying, Neo Queen Serenity had a more active role in Crystal. I personally find it funny that when Crystal started, a lot of people were saying that Endymion, Mamo-chan, Tuxedo Mask, whatever you want to call him, it was saying that he was not going to have a very active role in this show. Which, I honestly feel that that's quite the opposite.
He took out 2 bosses.
He's, in a way, played a bigger role, in my opinion, because we as the viewers see that he has powers. We see that he's working to hone those abilities. We see that he knows he is here to assist Sailor Moon. We see that they both know this, they accept that they are meant to do this together. They become united in this knowledge, and in turn, this illustrates his ultimate, his true purpose in the existence of with her in the universe, in the world, in their future, and I love and appreciate the fact that Crystal shows us that, you know, it proves that, hey, he's not
needed.
He's not just a pretty figurehead, and no, he's not just here to be Rainy's dad. Okay, so, you know, he has an integral part in this story. So thank you, Crystal, for doing that. Bravo. And speaking of Rainy, just like I was happy to see Usagi's crybaby ways turned down, I was equally happy to see that they also toned down Rainy, because I could not stand her in the original, and I know a lot of people felt the same way. You know, I actually don't hate her in Crystal. Well, until she kind of grew up there for a minute. That was a little bit mind-blowing.
She was a badass now with the slit.
That was just... No, really? The whole time I'm just sitting there thinking, you know, if you kill her, you're not going to exist, right? Like,
Evil doesn't think straight. But that's not the part that weirded me out. Are you going to get to that part that really weirded me out?
What part weirded you out? What part?
The kiss.
Well, that's what I just said. I said, I'm just sitting there like, I don't want to see this.
Like,
I don't want to see this.
You know that's your dad, right?
I don't want to see
like,
this.
Good or bad, biologically, that's your father.
It was traumatizing.
I wonder if they're going to edit that in the American version.
Oh my god. Well, they did in the original, so I don't know. I don't know if they were.
I don't remember that happening in the original.
I don't know.
I don't remember any of that loveness, I want you.
No, she did, but it wasn't so accentuated as it was in Crystal. I will say that. You know, all in all, I can honestly say that I love the new series. I've liked it more and more with every episode, although I can definitely see why they changed and toned things down for the 90s version, because let's face it, 90s kids were not ready for this at all.
No, we weren't.
You know, because when I originally heard about Crystal coming out, I was extremely skeptical. I was not having it. Now that I've watched it, I can, you know, I'm glad they made it, you know? It's made my love for Sailor Moon even that much stronger, and I didn't think that was possible. You know? Overall, you know, I'm really looking forward to season 2. There was some talk that they weren't going to do it, but they are. So, yay, we have that to look forward to. It's been another magical experience. And, you know, not like the original experience, of course, but nonetheless magical. And for a magical girl anime, that's on the mark. That's right on the mark. So, you know, thank you, Moonies, for being here. And
first of many.
We heart you. So, you know, what are your thoughts on Crystal? Let us know in the comments below.
What do you expect to see in the new seasons of Crystal? Because I'm ready for Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune.
Get the whole gang back.
Hold up,
together.
because it seemed like with the pace that they're going, we're going to see Sailor Stars. We never would have got that in the original version, and you know why. We'll say that for the next little show we do. As for the why.
Hope you enjoyed Moonies. And if you're not a Moonie, thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for watching. Like and subscribe. Until next time.